sa'yo walang kwenta. Pero sa nag-initiate na malaki na ang ginastos, malaki na ang kapital ang nasunog, ay sabi mo nga, there's no deadline, expiry. There's no expiration date. So pag nakalimutan na yung issue about PI, pwede ka namang gabangin ng mga nag-initiate yan. Tuloy natin yan dahil kumpleto na. We have already, sobra-sobra nga ang na-claim na nakuha nila eh. Yung ibang distrito, hindi lang 3%. Yung iba, 20% ang nakuha nila. So talagang malaki na investment nila dyan. Pwede nilang i-revive yung effort na yan pagtatahimik na naman itong issue na ito. Kaya dapat may balik sa kanila yung perma na yan. Sagrado yan, Commissioner. Hindi ako bugado ha, pero ordinaryong tao lang ko. Pero para sa akin, pag ako'y pipirma, paninindigan ko yan. Pwede mo akong maikulong dyan kung pumirma ako at pwede akong mamatay dyan sa pirma na yan. Di ba? Sa atin, sa ordinaryong tao. Kaya yung tao na yun, tulungan rin natin na ma-preserve yung kanilang dignity. They want to get back their dignity na hindi sila maloko sa ginaganon. O ito, merong card dito. Pirma kayo, bigyan kayo ng card. Later on, that card can be claimed for cash ayuda from the government. Yun ang sabi sa kanila. So, please, Commissioner, gawin niyo po. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Salamat po. We will do that immediately. Madam Chair.
Yes, maraming salamat. At gusto ko lang humirit. Nagulat din ako sa AKAP. At mas lalo akong nagulat sa halaga. 26.7 billion. Isang programa na ngayon ko lang natuklasan at ngayon lang narinig. Pero may bilin dito sa text, all soft projects, including AKAP, must go through the office of the Speaker. AKAP, AIX, TUPAD, MAIP for the PI and other efforts. Yes, Senator JB,
ako rin,
please.
medyo naging curious sa AKAP ngayon ko lang narinig eh. No? Siguro can ask the SWD, what is this program about? Is it just between the House and, kasi wala ko kami sa Senate na alam niyan eh. So is it with the SWD and the House of Representatives, yung program?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, AKAP is just as foreign to us, technically, as Senator Bato, as it is provided
yes,
in line
Yusek Dimapuro,
item.
I understand that it's under the DSWD budget. If you recall, in the Senate, I handle the DSWD budget, but like the COMELEC's mysterious addition of 12 billion, this 26.7 billion in the budget of the DSWD is alien to me.
Yes.
Madam Chair, if this DSWD declares that is foreign to them, saan ang galing itong budget? Baligtad na pala ang budgeting process natin. Ang Kongreso na magde-decide kung anong project i-implement ninyo. Hindi pala kayo ang nagre-request sa Congress na project na papunduhan, program na papunduhan. Baliktad, eh.
Madam Chair, it is not an exclusive project or program for Congress. It will be regular program, but it is technically foreign in the sense that it has no guidelines yet.
Yes, Yusek
So it does not
Dimapuro, did you
exist
request
as a
for this
program.
project? Was it in the NAP? It was not.
No.
There we go. Yes. Do we allot sums of money, enormous sums of money such as this, almost 27 billion, for a project or a program that is undefined, unnamed, unfamiliar, with no guidelines whatsoever, with no target beneficiaries, and is just left open? Is this the usual practice in the DSWD?
Not necessarily a usual practice
Not
in the
necessarily.
DSWD.
So sometimes DSWD has these magical projects that no one has ever heard of before?
We don't create magical projects, Madam Chair. These are
But
part
when
of
is
the
it
GAA.
necessary? You said not necessarily. So there are times when it is necessary to invent projects?
There are times when there are necessary projects to
Yes, you have QRF and you have all kinds of emergency
Yes.
assistance. I'm very familiar. Why do you have to invent AKAP?
AKAP is not invented. I
But you
believe
just said that guidelines and the purposes had not been established.
yes, guidelines have to go through proper policy procedures. So
Pero
it's not
linagyan na ng
invented
pera,
out of the
walang
air.
nakakaintindi kung paano gagawin, kung kanino ibibigay. Walang kaplano-plano pero may pera na.
Madam Chair, there are programs that are provided by the GAA for NGAs to implement. But before we
Yes,
do
with all
implement,
due
we have
respect,
to...
Yusek, that is not the usual budget process we're familiar with. There's always a very well-defined project or program before a line item magically appears in the GAA. It's fought over, debated, and discussed very, very thoroughly in the subcommittees as well as the plenary. This wasn't.
Madam Chair, we are currently creating the guidelines, and we would be happy to share with.
Parang baliktad naman yata yung buhay natin. Ngayon mag-iimbento ng dahilan, magdi-design ng project, pupunteriya yung mga beneficiary. Pero in the meantime, linagyan muna ng bilyon-bilyon. Yan na ba talaga ang patakaran ng DSWD?
Madam Chair, for programs that are intended for the poor, vulnerable, and disadvantaged, we welcome, obviously, more programs, and we would be grateful to be able to implement these other programs.
Yeah, I'm familiar with your mandate, but nothing in your mandate indicates that you should be inventing projects and that you are exempt from usual budgetary study and procedure. I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, kaya siguro nagkaganon dahil hindi talaga sa kanila yung programa na yan.
Gagawa lang sila ngayon.
Oo, hindi talaga sila. With due respect naman, in fairness to Yusek Di Maporo, bago nga yan sa kanya. Sabi nga niya, foreign eh. Hindi niya alam. So, huwag ka mag-alala. We are not faulting you for that. Kaya we are just investigating dahil the usual mangyari is meron ng bahay yung pondo, like AX. Kung sisingit man yung meron mang intervention dyan during the BICAM, ang lower house at saka upper house, the most that they can do is siguro dagdagan yung amount ng AX na yan. Pero may bahay na yan. Pero yung gagawa ng bagong bahay dyan during the BICAM, I don't know how feasible is that. Kaya nga sabi ng aming chairman, it's very magical. Kayo mismo, DSWD, hindi nyo alam na, uy, boom, may AKA pala na ganito kalaki.
Totoo, may nabasa lang ako bigla, o naalala ko lang bigla. Sabi ni Yusek Di Maporo, hindi kita inaaway wag mo ipagtanggol yung AKA pag hindi mo alam. Kasi lahat kami hindi alam. Kahit sinasabi ng DSWD, wala silang alam tungkol sa guidelines, foreign itong project, at linagay lang dyan, nasa press release na yung AKAP will provide 5,000 cash payment to 12 million poor households. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I've read those press releases,
But isn't this a
Madam
mere
Chair.
duplication of so many programs already initiated by previous administrations, the 4Ps and then the AIX, the never-ending Ayuda, SAP 1, SAP 2, walang katapusan to. So this is hardly a guideline. Pero ang liwanag na, nangako na ng 5,000 sa
Madam Chair,
12 million households. Baka hindi mo alam.
Madam Chair, I cannot confirm whether those are the numbers that are decided on, as we don't have any guidelines yet.
Pamaskong handog to lumabas sa PNA December 27.
Well, for our Christmas programs, or we don't have AKAP in any of our Christmas programs, I can say that definitively. But with regard to any pronouncements of how AKAP will be implemented and what amounts will be provided through AKAP, we don't have guidelines for that yet, Madam
Sige,
Chair.
Yusek, ganito na lang. Magtulungan na lang tayo. Alamin natin ang mga detalye nitong programang to. Pareho kami ni Senator Bato, ni Senator JV, Senator Risa. Nagugulat po kami kung saan to galing at ano ibig sabihin.
Yes po, Madam Chair. And I'd also like to say that we are very open to many innovations and new programs in DSWD. And it is not a new thing where we create something new.
Madam Chair, just to add.
Okay lang yan, okay lang.
I'm not gonna fight with you over that, but that's completely inaccurate and untrue. Okay, Senator Bato, please.
Pagkuha ko lang kay Yusek na walang problema. Wala kang problema ito sa amin. Huwag ka mag-alala. Ang
Huwag
amin
ka
lang talaga
mag-alala.
is nagulat lang kami sa Senado. AKAP. Hindi namin nakita yan sa kahit na ilang araw mo pag-aralan yung NEP, kahit ilang araw mo pag-aralan yung GAB. Hanggang sa kwan, hindi mo talaga makita yan. Nagulat na lang kami ngayon na may ganyan pala. Ikaw nga, nagulat ka eh. Sa inyong departamento yan. Okay lang, pareho tayong nagulat ngayon.
A happy
Huwag kang
surprise,
mag-alala.
Senator Bato, Madam Chair. A happy surprise because it will help the disadvantaged
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Walang problema yan.
Hindi, okay lang yan.
Kung mapunta sa taong bayan yan, importante yan. Okay ako, walang problema. Yung nga lang, siguruhin ninyo ha, dahil ang PNP ngayon, nagbabantay na pag mag-release kayo, na babawasan na naman yung pera, ang 10,000, ibigay sa tao, tapos ibalik yung, bawiin yung 9,000, 1,000 lang maiwan doon sa tao. You hear that during our hearings, di ba?
Yes, Madam
kaya
Chair, we
bantayan
are
ninyo
happy
talaga
for the
yan.
support of PNP to help
Yeah.
us in those payment areas. Off-site payment areas po siya.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, dagdagan ko na lang. Dagdagan ko na lang yung,
Senator JV,
yung
hindi kita
pagka-surprise
inaaway,
natin.
mahal ko yung pamilya mo. Ang
course.
problema, wag mo ipagtatanggol yung hindi mo kaya ipagtanggol.